Hello, my friends, and welcome to Monte's Wayback Machine. We are going to play Call to Power 2, the Apolyton Edition. So, Call to Power 2 came out in November of 2000, and it was the successor to the original Call to Power, which actually had the Civilization name on it. And I believe Sid Meier might have worked on that as well. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure on that, but it did carry the Civilization name. Call to Power 2 had to drop that for legal reasons. And after a few years, the source code was released to the Apolyton community. I think it was released to the public, but the Apolyton community picked it up and made quite a mod for it. It's not really a mod more than an improvement, a bunch of fixes, a bunch of additions, new features, all kinds of stuff like that. So there's the date that was the last released on, 2011, 06/11. So it's about 6 years old since Apolyton actually did this edition. But if you go to GOG, you can download it or buy this for a few bucks. It's not very much, and then go get the edition of the Apolyton edition from the. Just do a Google search and grab that, and you just unzip it into the directory, and you end up with the Apolyton edition of Call to Power 2, which is a very good game, I'm finding. So it's actually a hard game. I'm coming across a lot of stumbling blocks in it. So let's just go into new game. And I've been playing as the Aztecs, Montezuma, the first, the only. And I was playing at Prince, but man, I kept getting my butt kicked, man. This is actually a tough game. They really tweaked it out a lot. So I've cranked it back to Warlord for this game, I think, and we're going to crank the Barbarians up to Raiders just to make them a little more challenging. Empires are 8. You can have, I don't know what the maximum number is, but it goes way, way, way up. The only problem is the maps aren't that big, and yeah, you could crowd the empires in and sort of play like that, but yeah, I just found it way too crowded and couldn't get much done. You could settle maybe one more city, and then next thing you know, you're pinned in. The cities actually take quite a bit of space. So I'm just going to keep it at 8. And we got a bunch of rules here. I don't know whether I'll go through them all, but we can now have unit upgrading, which I don't believe was in the original game. And we're going to randomize our nations, so leave that clicked off. And you can capture cities. And riots create barbarians. So if one of your cities happens to riot, you're going to end up with a bunch of barbarians around your city. Barbarians spawn barbarians. Increases the chance of more barbarians appearing, so we're going to leave that on. And city maintenance cost. Each city will require its city size and maintenance, or in commerce, to maintain. So I think that's a new mechanic as well. Pollution is on. Riots kill population. So if your city riots, then you're going to lose some population. And new combat. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Yeah, just during battle, defending armies' front lines will only use their defense ratings, while attacking armies' front lines will only use their attack ratings. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. I'm not sure just how that'll apply, but... And veteran units will also receive a defensive boost. And I'm just going to start my stopwatch here. There we go. I think we're about 5 minutes in or so. And we also have ages. Now, the original Civilization games, only go up to the modern age. This game goes into the information age, the genetic age, the diamond age, and the future age. So there's quite a bit of advanced technology in this game. So it's quite interesting once you get to that level. And we can also colonize sea cities out in the ocean. The original Call to Power 1, you could do space cities as well. Unfortunately, the mechanic kind of got lost because by the time you had the technology to actually build space cities, the game was kind of over. So it didn't really go over all that well. So yeah, I just want to double check that I didn't click anything I shouldn't have. So it's still future, so that's perfect. Okay, map size is gigantic, and it's really not that big. It's actually a pretty small map considering the size of the city, how much space the cities require. And we can customize our map to different things. I just go sort of mid-range on that and crank the land up a little bit more and the continents up a bit, and then made it a little more uniform so it's not too sporadic. You know, you don't have, if you come out here, then you have what desert beside tundra and stuff like that. Kind of really weird. And I cranked up the goods just a little bit, so there's lots of stuff to trade. So I'm just going to hit the launch and we'll get into it. And here we go. So here's where we're starting on the map. We're not quite in the tundra and we're not quite in the desert either. So the equator is usually quite desert laden, and the north and south is usually quite a bit of tundra and glaciers. Okay, so let's see. So right here we can see, if you come down, if you look down below the menus here in the status, you'll see my rollovers. It's showing grassland and plains, and you can see that plains give food of 10, production of 10, and commerce of 5. If you come over here, you can see grassland river, food 20, production 10, and commerce 10. So that's those are the terrain values here, and we start with 2 settlers. So if we move one guy this way, we take 1 step.
How about here?
We can't settle now because we've actually moved. It takes him 2 movement to actually settle a city. So he's pretty much not going to be able to do anything this turn as far as settling. So I'm just going to move him a bit further out. Okay, and the other one hasn't moved yet, so we could settle a city right where we stand. And I'm unsure if we actually need to be on, whether it's beneficial to be on a river or not. I don't think so, from what I've noticed. We'll be utilizing all this land like right away. It's kind of a different mechanic from the usual Civ games. So let's just hit the settle button on that. And here's our build manager. Okay, so I'm going to hit the city manager as well. Just bring that up so we can have a look at that. I'm just going to move that out of the way. Okay, so down here we can build a hoplite, a settler, or a warrior. And then we got a couple of buildings we can build, granary or shrine, and a couple of wonder, well, 1 wonder, I guess. It's going to take a long time. We need to grow the city before we consider even starting that. Okay, so let's maybe come up here and have a look here first. So we have a population of 10,000. I think that's denoted by, that's not a proper ratio, 1 citizen to 10,000. That's just a completely startup thing. A lot of the numbers in this game are kind of obscure, and it's really hard to figure out how things work. For instance, you got 17 food, but we got 1,275 growth. The best thing you can do is just try to get enough food happening so this scale is up here somewhere. If it's down here, then you're growing super slow. And I think there's a red indicator here too if you're having problems. I'm not sure, I can't remember now. And happiness is also on a scaler. And you don't get happy faces or anything. You just get a number, which is kind of nice to work with, actually. So we can hire specialists. We could optimize the specialist. And as you can see, all we can really do is farmers right now. But we probably don't want to do that with just 1 citizen. If we click that on, you can see that our production and everything else drops, but the food goes up and the growth goes up. You can see 7 turns to grow to the next citizen. We take him off, and it's 8 turns. So it's only going to save us 1 turn. It's not really worth doing with just the 1 citizen. We're actually, this is the terrain around the city. Actually, if I come out, just close this for a sec, you can see a white dotted line around the city. And we are actually working all this terrain, I believe, at the moment. So come back in here. And that's where the 19 production and the 17 food and everything is coming from, all of this terrain. And once we grow a bit more, we'll come out another layer yet, and out into here, and it'll be indicated in here as well. So basically, we come out almost like Civilization 5 and 6. We come out 3 hexes or squares, I guess, 3 tiles. We come out 3 tiles and work all those tiles. So each city has 3 tiles out. So it actually takes quite a bit of land if you don't want to do any overlapping. There's an efficiency rating too. If you're inefficient, then nothing really gets done. So there's that to look forward to. We have crime at 24%. It's taken like 25% of our stuff is going to crime right now. So crime is big in this game. There's conversion losses for religious conversion, so we lose gold for that. Franchises will take production, and all kinds of stuff like that. So pretty cool. Anyways, that's the city screen, and I'm just going to queue up a warrior. Hoplites are good for defense. This is what we want to have in our cities for defending our cities. But I'm going to get a warrior just for exploration purposes. Warriors actually have better sight range. Hoplites will only see like 1 tile away, whereas warriors will see 2 tiles away. So we'll definitely want that for exploration purposes.
Construction started.
Yeah, we got a nice voice there to tell us that we've started our construction. And the AI will suggest stuff if you hit that button. And they're suggesting a hoplite, which is probably a good idea after we build that warrior, but we'll wait and see what the city looks like after that. Okay, and there's also a national manager. Here's a button for it here. And you can create custom queues and load them in as you want to. So if you have warrior, hoplite, settler, and all that, a bunch of stuff that you know you want to start with every game, then you can just load it in and do that. So you can create custom queues. We have a national manager as well. So this oops, I think we can move that window. Yep. So this tells us we have 1 city, and there's all our numbers that we were just looking at in that screen. There's 24% crime. There's no pollution or anything like that. Status, we're building nothing right now. We haven't processed the turn, actually. I think once I close this window, it'll show that we're building a warrior. And we can put mayors on. That's kind of like governors, or just a bit of automation if you want. And then there's specialists. This is all if we have that one farmer, he would show up here. And we can enslave and put slaves to work in our cities too. So quite a bit to the game. So let's just close that off, and maybe we'll come back and have a look at that national manager. Oh, hang on, national manager, that one there. So if we come back to status, it should show that. Yep, there we are. So this is it, basically lists all your cities, and you can assign mayors and everything, and rush by and stuff. So it's a kind of a handy screen to have. And then we have our empire manager. I'm just going to click details on so we can see exactly what's going on. Okay, so this is showing us that we have food, and we have 1 citizen eating 12 kilograms of food a day, and we're getting 46 from all that terrain around our city. Of that, -6 is going to government, and leaves us 39. Consume 12, crime is taking 10, which leaves us 17 stored for growth. And production, we're getting 10 hours a day, so people are kind of happy about that. If we move that right up, you can see they get unhappy. That's just not good for them. So if we go to 10 hours, we'll keep them happy. And terrain has given us 31 production, and government's taking 4, and crime is taking 7, leaving us 16 for city use. And public works is how we improve our land. There's no workers in this game. It's all done through the public works system. And up here is 20% for public works. So 20% of our city use, or what's left over after crime, is going to public works. So we have 3 public works. That is tracked up here. And we have commerce of 100, and our money, that's just our bank account. That's how much we have. We have 100 gold. And in commerce, we have 4 gold being paid to 1 citizen. So we have to pay our citizens to work. It makes sense. Train, we're getting 30 gold from our train, and building and city maintenance is 1. I believe our capital is costing us the 1 gold. Worker wages, which is the 4. And leaves us a subtotal of 25. So that is split between science and gold commerce. So out of science, we take 13 gold, and the subtotal is 13. Crime takes 4 of that, which leaves us 9 for science. And out of the 12 commerce, we have governments taking -3, leaving us a subtotal of 9, and crime is 3. And that leaves us 6 for our savings. So we're making 6 gold a turn. So that's, and there's our tax rate. Different governments give us different tax rates, and as we can see, there's a huge amount of governments in here, even virtual democracy and theocracy, technocracy. So we'll be looking at that later, and there's all the benefits and hits and everything for that. So we're in tyranny right now. It's the only government we have available to us. So that's a bit of an overview of the whole shebang, I guess. And if we come to Empire, we can see that here we are researching ballistics. So let's just click on that. There is a bit of a bug here. I've noticed I thought I was doing ballistics. Next thing you know, slave labor gets finished. And you're like, what? I thought we were doing that. So I've come across that a couple times. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But 51 turns to advance, but this will actually go a little quicker once we get going. So we can't go by that too much. And a bit of an overview here. We can have 10 cities under this particular government. And if we go beyond 10 cities, we start getting unhappiness penalties and everything. And there's a population 1, public works 20%, and science at 50%. I think I'm going to come back in here for a sec. I'm going to crank up the workday to 12, just to give us a bit more production. And that's made them a little bit unhappy. It's dropped our empire happiness a little bit. So I'm going to actually give them a bit more food, just to offset that. So that brings us, actually that didn't do anything, did it? Oh yeah, so it dropped a point, so that's fine. We're just going to go with that for now. So that gives us a little bit more city use and public works happening. And it shouldn't really affect us too badly. So I think that's about it. And over here under tile, this is where our public works are. So once we get enough public works built up, click on that. And you can see there's a cost of 200 to actually build that farm, which we don't have. So I can't build it right now. But if you look down below, down here, where it says unexplored, if I roll over, you'll see currently we're doing food 20, production 10, and commerce 10. If you look at the rollover up here, you can see that food goes up with this farm by 10. So that's a bit of an indicator of just how much more food you'll get. So we can do that, and as we go on, there is ocean improvements, there's a fishing net, there's special improvements, which we don't know yet, and we can actually terraform land. So we can turn grassland into plains and plains into grassland. And we can terraform ocean as well. So that's all technology that's coming at us soon. And there's a message log here, units, city. Okay, so that's pretty much the overview of the game. And a lot of that stuff is covered up here too, and then we have some options. We can go in and set if we want, restart new game, that's where you go to do that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think for now we're just going to hit the next turn, and we'll try and find a spot to settle this other city. Now the only problem with this game is if I use the mouse to move him, he's going to say something every time I move him. So what I'm going to do is just use the numpad to move him, just like you would in a standard civilization game. So I'm going to move them up the river here. And if you're on river, you get extra movement points. Oh, okay. So he only has a movement of 1, but because we're on a river, he has 2. But I'm not going to go for these ruins because sometimes they're filled with barbarians. So I don't want him to walk into there. So we're just going to go to next turn. And we do that by hitting the enter key. I've actually remapped that for myself because I'm used to hitting enter to get into cities, and I keep processing the turn. So I've actually remapped that, but I won't get into that because it won't affect your game at all. So yeah, I'm going to avoid that rune. Let's move over here. Go to next turn. And hopefully I can find that river again. Rivers are good, so try to settle by them if you can. Perfect. So we can keep going on that river. And you can see the blue line here. That's the city border. This is what we're currently working, this dotted line here. But this is the actual city border. This is how far the cities come out. So we don't want to do too much overlapping at all. So let's come on the river and get the extra movement point. And we'll go to next turn. Okay, so we could settle here. It's not that awful close. We'll overlap a little bit, and probably overlap that one maybe, or maybe even 2. But I think I might just go there. And hopefully there's a bit of production around. Each one of these does have 5 production on it, but not very well. But this city will grow really quick because there's tons of food around it. So let's maybe settle that right there. Okay, and we will grab another warrior.
Construction started.
Thank you for that. Okay, and we'll go to next turn. And we have no units, so we'll just keep processing turns.
Building complete.
And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to grab that warrior, and we're going to come over here. I might wait to get that one, because if a barbarian pops out, he can actually come in and grab that city. So I'm going to go get the other one, I think. And I'm going to actually change this to a hoplite. So right click will bring up the build manager. And I'm going to put a hoplite in here and get rid of the warrior. That way we'll have a defensive unit in there. Okay, and that is the end of the turn. And we'll go get that rune. And we got 350 gold. Perfect. And you can use gold to complete units, wonders, and yeah, I think you can buy wonders. You can finish wonders by purchasing, but a lot of money. But you can buy buildings and everything. And if we look over here, we see the message tab. Yeah, new warrior is ready. And that's actually an old message. So you can click on that. And you can hit the eyeball to take you to where you need to go. And that's just telling us that we finished that warrior. So, all right, so next turn. I wish these messages were more in your face because I keep missing them. All right, so I'm just going to step maybe this away for now. Process the turn. Oop, I just processed the turn. I hit the wrong key, so I just wasted a turn on him. Oh well. Process turn.
Building complete.
Okay, our other warrior's done now. So as you can see, there's the message there, so we don't really need to go into that. And there is a screen in here. I don't know whether, I think it's out at the main menu that shows all your keyboard options. So, and yeah, you can play this entire game on the keyboard. There are complaints that the UI is really, yeah, it's not very good. You have to click around a lot. But if you learn the keyboard commands, you can actually get around this game without even using a mouse. That's kind of handy. So I'm going to right click and go to our build manager. And I'm going to get a hoplite in this city as well. And we will proceed north and see where this river goes. Okay, there's a resource. You see down here we have a potato here too. And that's a poppy. And we can trade this stuff once it's inside. I believe it has to be inside our city borders. I'm not sure if we have to have a road or a mine or anything on it, or some kind of processing. I don't think so. Is there a way to tell? Okay, here's a trade screen. Maybe we can see. Yeah, I'm just wondering if we can see those goods. This is generally where the goods show up. Yeah, the trade is kind of interesting in here too, but we'll get into that in a bit. Don't get too bogged down with too much stuff here. Figured I'd go over most of the basics right away anyway, so and we'll head south. Yeah, you can see how big the field of vision is here. And on a hoplite, yeah, you only get the immediate squares around them. So that's why I built the warriors first.
Building complete.
Incidentally, the archers also have that kind of field of vision as well. Okay. There's another rune. Okay, so our hoplite is done. So I'm going to come into our build manager, and I'm going to add a settler. That's going to take 30 turns. It's saying it's 30 turns, but once we get the next citizen in 15, we'll be able to get going on getting that finished. And I think we need 200 to build a farm, so we'll be able to actually increase that as soon as we get enough public works to do so. Okay, and there's our messages over here. And yes, I know that. I don't need to actually, yeah, we can actually right click to get rid of those if we want. And we'll go to next turn. And we will go to our next unit, which is where? This guy. So I'm going to bring him back, and we will. Okay, so I'm going to fortify that hoplite in that city. And then we'll go see what that rune is. And we'll see what this rune is. Cha-ching! So 392 gold out of that. And next turn. So I'm going to drag the mouse. You can drag the mouse to move him. Yeah. And we got a warrior out of it. Perfect. I'll show you what I mean here.
I will do as you command.
So if you use the mouse to move him, he'll pretty much say that every time you take a step, and it's a bit annoying. So I'm just going to use the keyboard like I said. So now we have 2 warriors here. And let's just go into our Empire Manager, and have a look here. Unit upkeep is now at 5. And if we come in, and is there a way to go to the Great Library on him? Map info. No. So let's come into a city for a second. Build Manager. So if I click this and go to the Great Library, and we will see that each one of these is costing us 1 shield. Maybe check out the hoplite here too. And one hoplite is costing us 1 upkeep as well. So we have 5 units right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we got 4. Hang on, that's not making sense. 1, 2, 3, and 1 built in there. We're still building this one. But we have an upkeep of 5. I'm not sure why that's 5. I'm not sure. Also, let's go into our Army Manager for a sec. Military state, we are at war right now. And total units is 4. That's just what I said. Yeah, support 1. Yeah, so support 1, I don't know why it's 5. That's interesting. There must be some other mechanic in there. But we can be at peace, or we can be at alert, or we can be at war. Now, it costs more to keep your units at alert, or at war. If you pull it back to peaceful, you'll see his health bar drop a little bit, so they're not as effective. And I think I'm going to do that anyways, just for demonstration purposes. So they're on alert now. And probably next turn we'll see that. So let's go to the next turn. Okay, so you saw their health bar drop just a bit, so they're not as tough as they are when they're at war. So you can save a bit of money that way, and I don't know whether it's going to help us at all. Yep, so unit upkeep is now only 3. So if you're not at war and you have no immediate dangers around you, you can actually save a bit of money by doing that. Okay, so let's go to the next unit. And we'll keep exploring. And maybe we'll get you to go up and get those 2 black squares up here, and we'll continue him along the river maybe. We'll get you back on the river here. Okay, it looks like we have a coastline there. And yeah, to build boats, your city has to be on a coast. It's not like Civ 6 or anything like that. So go next turn.
Building complete.
And we'll get you to see what those 2 black squares are, and we'll proceed along the river here. There's some hills. So hills, if we look down below, food 5, production 10, commerce 10. There's some buffalo over here. Food 25, so that's actually a good spot to put a city, would be over here somewhere. Okay, so carry on. And we have a hoplite now. That's what the message was. So we can click that away. And we'll go into our build manager. And we'll get a settler up and running here. Okay, so we'll put him on fortify in the city, protect the city, and go to next turn. Okay, so we got another potato here. And eventually that city will get out here and get that. I'm just not sure why our border is there. Is it just because I haven't been... I'm not sure why it does that. I know the cities utilize 3 out. I guess it's just our empire border. And it applies to other empire units, whether they can come in here or not. But for demonstration purposes earlier, I just said that's what the city can see and can utilize. Okay, so we're out of river there, so no more fast moving along that. And next turn. And there's barbarians. That is not good news, but at least we got fortification in our cities. Okay, so I'm looking up here. We have 211 public works. Barbarians can, in fact, pillage any building, any tile improvements. So I'm going to build this anyways, just to get our food up and get that settler going just a little bit quicker. So it takes a couple turns for that to finish. So it's not instant. So the public works workers have to come out and actually build the farm. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these barbarians, but I'm going to move here maybe.
I will do as you command.
Damn straight you will. Okay, so next turn. Oh my god. Yes, I did crank those up, didn't I? Oh man. I think city walls would be helpful. I usually go for slave labor and use them as explorers, but I think I better get some city walls happening. So let's research that. Okay. Oh boy. I have 1,154 gold. Let's see if we can do something here. Okay, so we can build archers now. Not sure why I'm not getting a price tag on that. Let me go into the city manager and have a look. Oh, that's why. Can't afford it. 3,599 gold to rush by that settler. Oh, I see. It's because I got the settler in queue. It has to be in queue. Yeah, so we don't have nearly enough money to do anything there. I might actually bring him back just in case. This is looking kind of scary. I don't know whether I want to take on that 2-stack. I definitely do not want to do that. I don't want that 2-stack to hit me either. So moving south is probably not a good idea here. So I think I'll just kind of move away from that. And we'll go to next turn. Oh man. Get in the city. Okay, and we'll try and get him in the city as well. Okay, next turn we might see a battle. Uh-oh. Whew. Oh no! Oh man. Well, aren't we off to a great start? I just got my ass handed to me in a big way. Not an easy game, guys. It is not an easy game. I just lost my capital. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know whether I can get it back. Probably not. Unless they maybe move out of it. I should have stayed at war. I got reduced health and that's... Okay, we managed to win that one. So anyways, this is the battle screen. Barbarians are attacking us. We don't have... The only bonus we have is a fortification bonus because we had that unit fortified in there. But there is city defenses we can build and other bonuses we can get. There's a fort bonus. Wow, this is tough. Okay, well, I think what I'm going to do is come back to war. Unfortunately, it takes a turn or two to restore your health bar after you've been at war. So it's going to take a turn or two to get his health back up. Oh, boy. I don't think I'm going to win this unless he's still damaged. Yeah, I lost the city completely. Okay, we got a feat of wonder. You have recaptured a city once part of your empire. No, we haven't. By reclaiming what was once yours, you have lifted the spirits of your people and given them hope in the face of foreign aggression. There will be a +1 happiness increase throughout your empire for the next 10 turns. Yeah, big flippin' deal. The city of Tenochtitlan has fallen to our forces. The city is at our mercy. What are your orders? Well, I'd like to occupy it, but I don't think that's possible. It's just gone. So we lost our capital. That is super unfortunate. Super unfortunate. Yeah, this is tough. So I'm just going to move him up that way. And those barbarians are heading straight to that city now. Oh boy. That's a massive setback. Massive setback. I mean, we'll try to resettle it, but we're going to be a little while before that happens. And we might lose it again anyways. Okay, and what's in our messages here? There's a race afoot, and I just didn't read that. So there's a race. Jose San Martin of the Argentinas has begun to build the Ramayana, which is a wonder. And we have recap. Yeah, so we already know all that. So we'll just right-click to dismiss all that. Man, just not getting a break here. I might have made a mistake by cranking up those barbarians. Trying to get him to that city. Maybe get him over here too. We need to get that settler done. Yeah, so as you can see, our health bars are not coming up very fast. And I just double check that I did that right. Yep. Yes, that's super, super unfortunate. And I think we're kind of at the end of the episode here. Oh, man. Wow, I got to get a second unit in there in a hurry. Luckily, they heal up quick when they're in the city. So I got to get him up there. Okay, so there's the end of the turn. I think I'll end this episode here. I'm almost tempted to start over, but I think I'll keep going. Simply because I don't want to do the whole game explanation thing all over again. So that was a lot of talking to get that done. So we're going to end it here, and we'll pick it up next time. And we'll see if we can't get our capital back. Or resettled anyways, and that's pretty unfortunate that happened. So, yeah, this is called the Power 2 with the Apolyton, I guess, patch, the Apolyton patch. And, yeah, quite challenging, as you can see. The Barbarians are just ruthless here. So, I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll pick it up next time. Until then.